Hi everyone, my name is Melike Düzenli. Together we will analyze chapter 8 in linguistics. If you are ready, let's start. Our topic is adverbials, auxiliary, let me write better, and sentence types. We will analyze this topic in seven ways. The first one is adverbials. What is adverbials? Let's check it. As you know, in the previous chapter, we discussed some obligatory complements within the verb phrase. And now we will analyze the optional modifiers both at the level of verb phrase and at the level of sentences. And these are traditionally called adverbs. Three different types of adverbial functions are distinguished. These are adjunct adverbial, disjunct adverbial, and lastly, conjunct adverbial. Now let's look at the adjunct adverbial. Now let's look at the adjunct adverbials. Here, adjunct adverbials generally answer one of the following questions. Now I will write these questions. For example, how? Does matter? And for example, let me give one example for how. Carefully. Carefully. And the other one is when. We are time. And for example, yesterday. Or you can give another example like on Tuesday, on Thursday, like that. And where? This is, place. And for example, in the kitchen or in the living room. And the other one is why. Here reason. Since I am poor, for example. The other one is how. Here we are talking about frequency. For example, twice. And the other one is how. This is direction. And for 2 days, for example. For 2 days. And the four most common types of adjunct adverbials are manner and time, place, and reason. Useful. Adverbials are optional modifiers. Optional modifiers. Traditionally, they are said to be modifiers has modified the verb together with its complements and complements. And we call these complements as a we, and this is the short version. Thus, we will introduce adverbials into our phrase structure grammar as optional sisters of these complements. And in the following way, we are ignoring the C here. For example, let me write for you. This is our pattern for that one. Here, adverb, and here. As I already said, the second one is disjunct adverbials. And the second type of adverbial is disjunct adverbial. Traditionally, these are known as a sentence adverbs. Sentence adverbs. They denote the speaker's attitude, word, or judgment of proposition, expressing, for example, the speaker's degree of truthfulness or his manner of speaking. As in the case of adjunct adverbials, adverb phrases or may serve as a disjunct adverbials. For example, let me give an example for that one. Seriously. No, these are adverbs. Certainly. Hopefully. Surely. Clearly. We can give another example, like one of them is seriously, the other one certainly. And if you want stupidly, sadly, personally, you can give lots of examples for that one. And the other one is to my surprise, for example, to my surprise. And to my regret. Or on paper. You can give lots of examples. Unlike adjunct adverbials, disjunct adverbials modify the entire as, not just the verb. So they are generated by the phrase structure rules, as like that here. Look at it. And the other one is here. And the third one is conjunct adverbials. The third type of, is conjunct adverbials. Traditionally, these are known as a conjunctive adverbs. They express textual relationships rather to link clauses. They have no function in their own clause. They may be adverbials, and let me give some example. For example, moreover. For example, nevertheless. For example, furthermore. And finally, next, and thus. You can give lots of examples, but some of them are these. And here, in addition, in conclusion, On the other hand, and maybe as a result, in second place, you can give us an example. Let's look at the second topic. This is functions of post-verbal, prepositional phrases. And post-verbal, which follow, can serve a number of different purposes. The function of post-verbal PPs include preposition complement, adjunct adverb. Let me write for you. These are include prepositional complement and adjunct adverb. And the other one is post modifier of a noun. Of a noun. But these can be for me difficult to distinguish. And let me write for you. For example, this. Let me give an example. His wife was in her rabbit matchmaking note. The second one is, I'm bad at writing, that's why it can be a bit hard for you for understanding. Let me give an example. His blower changed into a scenario. Here this is important and here this is important. And the third one is, these are like a net problem. And let me give an example. The face of poverty has changed in America. This is important. In sentences 1, in her rabbit matchmaking mode is a subject complement referring back to his wife. This is a subject complement. And the second one is, this one is, as you know, prepositional complement of change. And in the third sentence, this then adjunct adverbial modifying has changed. The PP can be either an obligatory complement of the verb or an optional modifier of this one, an adjunct adverb. Now let's look at the auxiliary. To this point, we have assumed that the verbal element consists of lexical verb in base form and nothing else. But just as there are specifiers of the noun, there appear to be specifiers of the verb, and these are traditionally called as an auxiliary. And when we consider auxiliary as a word class, we looked at their special inflection features, like defective morphology of models, in that they do not take S in the third P or have non-affine forms, and their special distribution, we looked at them. They cannot stand alone in a sentence. Instead, there must be a lexical or main verb present which functions as head of the verb group. For example, Those dogs can cook or have had or are being, be, being, yeah. And bite, eating, biting, eaten, bite. And those cats. This is a great table for this topic. And now let's look at the fourth topic, passive sentences. Although it's possible to generate a passive sentence directly in this structure by simplifying adding past to the phrase structure for obstacle, as we just did, a passive sentence is typically seen as being directly related to its active counterpart, rather than as a completely different structure. Since the choice of passive, unlike the choices of any other auxiliary, affects the structure of entire sentences. And now, let me give an example for you. The art expert could have detected the further. And the other one is forgery. Could have been detected. Could have been detected by the art expert. The passive sentence compares with the active sentence in the following way. These are first one is the passive verb group contains the be and sequence just before the main verb. Secondly, the subject of active sentences is the object of preposition by at the end of passive sentence. And thirdly, the direct object of active sentence is subject of passive sentence. Subject of passive sentence. Now let's look at the verb subcategorization and the passive. Here we have 8 subcategorization of this topic. The first one is monotransitive verbs. Monotransitive verbs. Second one is intransitive verbs. Third one is copulative verbs. The fourth one is intransitive verbs. Fifth one is complex transitive verbs. Sixth one is prepositional verbs. The seventh one is deprepositional. And the eighth one and the last one is transitive phrasal verbs. Okay, the other topic is yes no questions and negative sentences. The following examples show the formation of yes no questions from the corresponding declarative sentences. Let me write the example for you. Richard is living soon here. Is Richard living soon? Okay. The other title in this part is negative statements and questions. And the following sentence, let me write the sentence for you. She has not, or hasn't really experienced that. In this example, show the formation of negative statements from the corresponding positive statements given above. In this case, the negative element, or not, is placed after tense and the first auxiliary element. Now let's look at the do support. Here, what happens if you wish to form a negative or interrogative sentence from a sentence that has no auxiliary other than tense? Let me give an example for you. Tom wrote that book by himself. Here, we understand that Tom didn't write that book by himself. Placing tense before the subject or negative after tense result in what is called tense straining. Okay, tense stranding. Because by the rule of F is hoping there is nothing for tense to attach to, it must attach to the immediately following element, and that element must be verbal, but in interpreted the subject follows in the negative, not follows. So we can say that a verbal element must be supplied by inserting the dummy auxiliary to dummy auxiliary to. This serves the function of auxiliary when there is no other independent auxiliary present. The insertion transformation is called do support. Now let's look at the type questions. Here, in this section, we have type questions. Let me give an example for you. Einstein would have never said that would he. The type follows the comma and consists of three things. The first one is the tense and the first auxiliary of main clause. The second one is a pronoun in identical in person, number, and gender with the subject of the main clause. Here tense. And the third one is a marker of negative polarity. A marker of negative polarity. Our other topic is imperative. Here, let me give an example for you. Before each clause. And we have so far accounted for the formation of declarative and iterative sentences, but not for the formation of imperative sentences, such as this example. Pass these out for each clause. Or another example, take a look at your sales recorders. Here, our rule is that we will not account for these because they have no subject. Traditionally, it is said that a you subject is understood or elliptical. Is there any validity to this? There are a number of tasks for your imperative. First, consider the reflexive pronouns. And there are forms with self or selves attached to a personal pronoun, which have the same referent as the subject of clause. That is, they agree in person, number, and gender with the subject. Okay, our last topic is from this structure to a structure. As we have now learned all the phrases, structures, rules, except for accounting for complex sentences, it is perhaps useful to review what these rules do. They tell us the lexical categories of verbs. Lexical categories. And the order of elements in this structure and the hierarchical relationship of the categories. The phrase structure, rules, and lexicon together form the base. Let me write for it firstly. Lexicon base. Here, this is class. And from here, this structure. Here, movement transformation. Let me change the maker, moment, trans, and the other one is S structure. Here, the phrase structure rules and lexicon together form a base. The base derives deep or underlying structures which are unambiguous and contain no meaning. Remember that the same structure may have different surface manifestations and, the same as structure. We have more than one this structure. And these structure sentences are active as opposed to passive, declarative as opposed to interrogative or imperative, and positive as opposed to negative. And they are also simple as opposed to complex. Um, Actually, such sentences are known as a common sentences. Then, to produce passive or imperative or negative sentences, what is needed is another kind of rule, a transformation which converts this structure into an S structure. And it was the end of my presentation. As you know, we learned lots of the things about this title, verbs and auxiliaries and sentence types. Thank you for listening to me.